Welcome.
You are watching Line Screw 1. Well, hello tubers. It's another fantastic day out here. As fantastic as it can be under the circumstances. Oh boy, I got a story to tell you. I learned a few things yesterday, and I'm going to get you up to speed in case you want to try doing what I'm doing. As many of you know, I've been living off-grid in a remote area of central northern British Columbia. Now, it's fantastic. Things have been fine. Hey, even my garden has been growing. I've had really no complaints, but we did hit this horrible heat wave, and we're talking temperatures that I've never seen. I've lived in Western Canada most of my life, from the Yukon, British Columbia, even briefly in Alberta, and how can I put this? The temperatures that we've been hitting the last few days, and will continue to hit for the next couple days, they're actually getting hotter, are so unprecedented and record-breaking. You know, the other day, it was about in the 90s, no problem. Air conditioning's working fine, generators working fine. Yesterday gets into the hundreds Fahrenheit, and it's just nuts. And suddenly, between the high elevation and absolutely no breeze, no wind at all, my generator couldn't keep up. The air conditioning couldn't keep up. In fact, I even did an oil change on my generator, and the oil was the consistency of water because it was so damn hot. And rather than risk ruining my new generator, I decided to evacuate. Yes, Seacan Station Zebra has been evacuated, and I'm now at an RV park with full facilities. And ironically, it's really not that expensive to do this, because I got to the point where I was burning $20 worth of gasoline a day to keep the generator going for the fuel. As many of you non-Canadians may know, gasoline is very expensive in Canada. Not as bad as Europe, but very expensive. Now, I was willing to pay whatever it took to keep that generator going, but it got to the point where it wasn't practical. You know, when you're spending over 20 bucks a day just for generator fuel, but you could stay at an RV park somewhere for 50 bucks a night, it becomes a no-brainer, especially since once you're in an RV park, you don't have to ration the water, especially because the plants are needing it even more. I'm drinking a lot more water. The dog's drinking a lot more water. I had it down to a formula of how much water I needed for an entire week at a time. But these temperatures, they threw a monkey wrench into everything. So, a warning to all these people in the RV world that think they can live on nothing. You always got to have a few bucks set aside in case you need to go hunker down in an RV park in an emergency. Heck, we even also have a fire ban. You can't even have a campfire. So all these people that planned for months to go on a camping trip in June, July, they're not even going to have a campfire because it's too freaking dangerous to have a fire right now. There's a few campers around me that don't even have air conditioning. It's pretty tough. So my goal over the next 4, 5, 6 days, whatever it takes until the heat wave is over, is to keep that air conditioning going. I'm sure you can hear it humming in the background. I want to keep it down to about 65 Fahrenheit, 24/7. I'm not paying for the electricity directly, so I'm not on a meter. So why not? The dog needs to be comfortable. More importantly, the dog needs to be safe. It got to the point where the air conditioning couldn't keep up, and it was kind of a risk there. The other day, I recorded a surface temperature of 112, 113 Fahrenheit. Yeah, it was manageable, no problems. And then yesterday came where I got surface temperatures in the 130s to the 140s. It was nuts. It was time to evacuate. Luckily, all it takes is time, money, and effort, and I can be safe. And I'm lucky I got one of the more shadiest sights. I know the sun is kind of hitting my RV right now, but trust me, once the sun moves a little bit, this will be shady most of the day, allowing my air conditioning to keep up. I'll tell you how hot it was. It was so hot, I wasn't even interested in drinking beer. And that's a shame for a Canadian. I had 3 bottles of cold beer staring me in the face every time I opened the fridge to get cold water, and I haven't touched them for days. In fact, the weather changed so much in the last week. Last weekend, I did have guests come up and visit me. Kind of nice to hang out with some people and enjoy this great supernatural British Columbia. And we even did a side trip run up to Clearwater Lake at Wells Gray Provincial Park. It was a muddy, rainy, cool day. That was that weekend. This weekend, ooh, very, very different. I'll show you some footage of how wet and torrential the rain was in terms of the flow over the falls at Wells Gray at Helmeken Falls. It was just nuts. Now this weekend, it's just nuts because of the heat. And as hot as it was yesterday, today, tomorrow, and even the following day after that will be hotter. We're talking well into the hundreds, day after day, well into mid next week. So I'm hunkering down. I don't feel guilty that I'm cheating, hanging out at an RV park with unlimited water and electricity. Nah. You know what? Money is to be used for comfort and convenience. That's the only reason money exists for me. You know, maybe some of you like to pile it up into stacks and look at it. I like to convert it into simple pleasures like air conditioning, water. Heck, now that I'm in an RV park, even doing laundry isn't really much of a hassle. So I think it's all win-win. You know, you got to roll with these punches. But I am very concerned about forest fires. All it takes is one idiot to throw a cigarette butt out the window, or a piece of glass gets the sun just so right of an angle, and suddenly you got a bit of that magnifying glass effect, and you've got a fire. Even thunderstorms, you never know. I mean, we could have wicked hot forest fires. I might even have to evacuate out of here and go someplace further north, or maybe further south. Don't know, but I'm ready to roll. You know, if suddenly we had to evacuate out of here, that motorcycle's staying. I don't even have time to load it. Forget about it. It's insured. It can burn. I can throw everything into that RV, put that awning up, be out of here within 5 minutes flat. If I gotta be. If I was motivated, I could probably do it in 2 minutes. But it begs the question of why is it so hot? Record-breaking temperature well into the hundreds. Death Valley temperatures up here in Canada. When Honolulu is so much cooler, doesn't make sense. You know, I even texted Health Travelers. He's in Central Florida, and he's talking about mid-80s temperature. Sounds fantastic. Wish we had it here. That's actually what I was looking forward to originally. It was just beautiful mid-80s temperatures, you know, high 70s for several months over the summer. But I'm not going to have it. Looks like the banana growing seasons for Canada is slowly approaching. But whatever the case, I do have my plants growing up at the homestead. So I will have to take some runs up with water on the motorcycle to water them, because they will die if they're not given some water. So, hey, what can you do? You just deal with things as they come. Now, I love some of the contrarians out there. They're going to say things like, I don't need air conditioning, I don't need a generator, it can be 115 every day. I don't care. It's all good. Good for you. You just keep doing what you're doing. Hey, not only do I have myself to contend with, I have a dog to contend with. So my dog deserves some creature comforts. You know, life ain't perfect for a dog on the road all the time, living in an RV. So at least some nice, cool air conditioning for the dog, That's the least I think Sammy the Pooper deserves. And Sammy the Pooper, if you remember, is an American dog. She's from Washington. Washington. I just like saying Washington. So put your comments down below on what kind of temperatures you've been hitting wherever you are in the West. I know Europe had one hell of a hot summer a couple of years ago, and it was just nuts, people dying. I know if I had to stay up there and things went sideways, might not work out good for either me and or the dog. So like I said, put your comments down below on how hot it has been, especially if you are living anywhere in the West, from southern Yukon all the way down to northern California. It's a blazing heat wave all over the West. So I don't know, but you know what, hey, maybe I should just go on the road for a bit after this. Don't know. Let's see what the forecast is going to be. But while I'm up in the north, a lot of beautiful things to see up here, and I'm going to take you along when I get my button gear and decide to hit the road even further. So in the meantime, folks, stay safe, keep your wheels on the ground. I'll talk to you soon. Over and out.
I got you, I got you.